On the Quantities page, you will find all the materials and labor items required to complete the project. You can review and modify the required material quantities and labor items duration here. Any changes you make will affect the project's quote and financials. Changes made in build specifics or survey have an impact on quantities, orders, Gantt schedule, financials, and quote specification. Note that every time you modify any of build specifics or survey items, quantities, durations and costs are recalculated upon your visit to any of these pages. Depending on the project size, this may take a little while. So it's best to finish making changes in the build specifics and survey before using this page. Navigation between categories on the Quantities page is the same as in survey or build specifics. You can use the left and right chevron buttons or expand and select categories in the tree. At the top of the page, there is a toggle button to switch between materials and labor items. The project tree has two modes for labor items: the usual project categories tree or the schedule tasks tree. Labor items are grouped according to their underlying logic to form schedule, commonly known as project program, tasks that you can find in the Gantt schedule. The active category or task title is displayed in the content header, and the content is filled with items. Each item has an expand button that will reveal important information and two inputs. Materials item, a set quantity input and a checkbox to fix the set quantity. Labor item, a set duration input and a checkbox to fix the set duration. Each materials item shows the dimension to which it is assigned, the corresponding dimension value, the quantity calculated by the app, the item price, and costs. The calculation of the quantity is based on a specific algorithm, which we have developed following the manufacturer's recommendations and industry standards. The formulas used often incorporate constants that are set in the common settings. Note that you can adjust constants as you see fit if your subscription plan includes this feature. The set quantity represents a number of purchase units for the listed price. If the item is only used once in the project, the quantity will be rounded. However, if the item is used in multiple occasions, the sum of the set quantities for each occurrence of the item must also result in a rounded total. Thus, the set quantity of a specific item may not be a rounded number. It is crucial to pay attention to the number of units of a materials item that are sold for the listed price. For instance, if you choose a materials item that is sold by the supplier in bulk, for example, 20 units, but the actual quantity required for the project is only 2 units, then the quantity set will be rounded up to 1 from 0.1, resulting in the purchase of 20 units. In such a scenario, it is advisable to return to the Build Specifics page and choose a materials item that is sold in single units. To find out the quantity sold of a specific item, simply click on the Item Info button, which will display a pop-up with the item details. You can modify the set quantity as you see fit. As mentioned earlier, the quantities are recalculated every time you make changes to the survey or Build Specifics pages, even if the item has not been affected by the changes. If you want the set quantity to remain unchanged, check the Fix Set Quantity checkbox. However, please be aware that even if the item has been affected by a change in dimension value or a different materials item is selected, this number will remain as set. It is best to minimize the use of this feature to avoid inaccurate results. Similarly, each labor item displays the dimension it is assigned to, the value of that dimension, the app calculated duration, and costs. It also shows where it is being used via the item path, which is useful if the project tree is in tasks mode. The logic here is the same as for materials items, with the only exception being that the duration is not rounded. Changing the duration will cause a change in costs, and fixing the duration will cause it to remain constant even if the dimension value has changed. You can click the Info button next to the item and pop-up will appear with all details that you set previously in Build Specifics. Please remember to save any changes you make, as they will only be saved permanently into the database after you save them.